All right, today we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics in the whole wide world, which is tiny space design, in particular, tiny workshop design, tiny workspace design. The specific topic is empty space design. I mean, think about this. We typically put so much emphasis and effort into designing for the stuff, and then maybe and hopefully we design for work to be done. But that's usually where we stop. And then we don't design for tomorrow and the next day and the next week and month and year. Nobody's talking about designing for the day-to-day dynamics of using the workspace. I mean, we do talk about modularity, and that's great, but that doesn't really cover the unexpected. And definitely nobody's talking about the long-term evolution of the space or evolution of the user. So today we're going to talk about empty space design, which unlocks a whole lot of mental freedom as we change. So without much further ado, let's talk about designing for nothing.
Nothing? Nothing.
All right, I finished up with this project and I've set it up as a model workshop to demonstrate a lot of usability features or workshops. Okay, hold up. If you follow this channel, you know that this is not my workshop. You've never seen this before, so here's a life update. I'm doing Keith Test Garage stuff full time now. So this is a recent customer's workshop that I overhauled. Now I'll tell you more about this at the end of this video, but know this if you get too excited. In the meantime, you can go to keithstestgarage.com, see some of the stuff I've been up to lately, and even hire me to help you rebuild, revamp, whatever your workshop. Maybe that's coming out and working with you. Maybe that's doing some design work. Maybe that's just having a brainstorm session. More on this later, but that's my new thing. Context, this is a recent customer's workshop. Back to the empty space. All right, I finished up with this project and I've set it up as a model workshop to demonstrate a lot of usability features or workshop fluency features that have been solved in other industries, and I've been translating them over to the workshop industry over the past several years. This workshop has tons of them. One of them I want to point out that's a huge deal in this workshop is that this workshop answers the question, where do I put this thing that's in my way, but I'm still using it or will use it soon? For example, you have the drill or the impact driver here. A lot of times this type of thing or some screws or materials ends up in your way, and it's so frustrating. We know how that is, especially in a tiny workshop. And this here is a lawnmower garage. It's not a car garage, that's a small door. Cars can't fit through it. This space especially is one where you can get in a hole really quickly with just stuff getting in the way. And there are so many different levels of answering this question, and I'll show you some of those right now. So right off the bat, the workbench top is one of the spaces where it'd be nice to have a spot directly underneath to go ahead and put stuff as you're working on it. For example, this type of thing, you can get it out of the way. Same with things like the clipboard. There's a slot for it. There's a shelf for the small stuff here. There's even, when you want to read the clipboard with your notes, there's even a way to do that without it taking up much workbench space. Like that. Then surrounding the work island and the workbench, there are empty shelves, so many places, little baskets, empty cubbies. So this here is a shelf built for whatever you want to put on it. Maybe this lives back here, maybe it doesn't. Maybe the router lives up here, whatever the case. All right, let me clarify really quick here something about empty space design. It might seem obvious, but once we take a look at an example, it'll make a whole lot more sense. The empty spaces that I'm showing you here are designed to be empty. That's the obvious part. But let's take a look at the random orbit sander, for example, to see a scenario where it might seem like this is its home because it's going to hang out here almost always because it's a really useful tool. Most of the time it's going to hang out here because of its usefulness. However, it lives in the sanding drawer next to the sandpaper, a drawer that is designed to hold this sander, among other things, and even having additional empty space for other things to, for evolution up, all that stuff. The natural question is, well, why not just have the home where it's most convenient to use? The answer is, it's not necessarily always convenient to have it in the work island. If the user has to rebuild a lawnmower engine, that sander is completely irrelevant and in the way near one of the most important work surfaces in the shop, in the tiny shop. So the ability for the user to reset their workspace really quickly, get everything put back to where it lives, I mean, that should be a really, really easy thing for somebody to do in a workshop that is custom designed with usability first. So the ability to take 2 or 3 minutes and just put things where they live, then that allows the workspace to morph into another craft, another trade, another thing. And then he has room to put the socket sets or the torque wrench, which live somewhere else, but now those things can come hang out in the work island. Maybe you need a spot for that because that's more convenient than putting it up here. But there's its long-term home if you want it. And there's another example. Why not just have the impact driver's home on the shelf right there? Well, a shelf is an intentional empty space that should offload stuff off of the workbench, offload the random stuff onto kind of another tier of a workbench, just a place to get stuff out of the way, the mysterious stuff, the unknown stuff, the things that we can't really predict. We know that there's going to be stuff. We don't know what it's going to be. We know there's going to be stuff. That's why that's an empty space. Also spots to just put the thing all over the place. Maybe you're over here using this thing and you have some lumber in the way there. A lot of times we find ourselves in these small workspaces or any workspace just turning around looking for a spot to set something. So this is a lumber rack, but intentionally I've left this shelf blank. Maybe he's using a lot of lumber one day and uses it for lumber rack purposes, but maybe he's got a bunch of friends over. They all have their tools, their chargers. You can use that shelf for that. Here is another spot. This miter saw is flush with the wings here. I sized the cavity big enough so he can upgrade the miter saw later on. And I've brought out the miter saw so that these tools can be used and still have space for full length boards on the miter saw table. And that there is kind of counterintuitive in a tiny workspace. You might think, okay, since there's not much floor space, let's be sure not to make this too big. But this is a case where we used the length of the room and came out to allow these tools to exist and be used in place while this tool is unobstructed, full-length boards. Sometimes you just want to get stuff out of the way, and so that's why this is labeled workbench top. It's really kind of a secondary workbench top. For example, when I was doing the conduit, I had a lot of conduit and electrical parts up here, but then I needed to shift gears for the day, and this was in my way, so I shoveled all of that into this drawer and got on with the thing I needed to switch gears to. And then the next day I just opened it up, put the stuff back, and was back in business. And that's a common thing in a lot of home workshops, is the need to pivot from maybe a woodworking project to a lawnmower maintenance project in the same day or same week, but then return to what you were doing. That's why I left this one pretty empty. Got more empty space in most of these drawers. That way, when Christmas rolls around, he gets a new tool that's in this category. He can have the space for it. There's space where I did not build drawers. I put buckets, empty buckets here and over there, and right there. That way, he can throw stuff in there as it's convenient. Then maybe a few months later, we can build the rest of the drawers because then we know what typically ends up going in that space. This is also a place to just put stuff that would otherwise be in the way. I think we're massively underutilizing drawer fronts. A lot of times take this off to switch grits. That's floating around on the table, getting knocked off, getting blown off. Well, here's a spot. It's natural to just stick it. Or you can leave this drawer open. If you're sanding, reach in, grab your thing, without having to bring out a bunch of boxes of sandpaper and have all that in your way. So, same thing with grinder attachments. We can just use the front and have additional ones in the back. What else? Yeah, little spaces like this, not used. Maybe he wants to do that. Maybe he wants to do this. It should be dynamic from project to project, day to day, week to week. More space there, more space there. And up here, more space. Here's space to put stuff, especially for cutoffs. I found that in my workshop, a lot of the times I have a board that I just cut. I need a spot to put it to cut 5 of the same thing. So that's there for primarily taking cut pieces and having a spot to put them while cutting more pieces, but that can also be used for spray paint, whatever they want. I don't want to gridlock them into a system where they have to use that shelf for cut lumber. And a lot of the reason for outfitting a workshop is to consider tomorrow. All right, so one thing I want to point out here, this is a very small workshop. This is effectively a 12 by 20 shed that is just built into a house. Yet still, even in large workshops, you have this problem where you just don't know where to put a thing, or anywhere you have to put a thing seems in the way, or you get a tool and don't have space in the drawer for those tools. And you can see that even in this tiny space that looks like this before, We kept most of the stuff. I mean, you see the chairs there, those are gone, but most of the stuff is kept and maintained, yet there's still a lot of empty space that we developed. If this customer goes and gets some new tools, it's not going to wreck the system we set up for him. There's going to be space in the drawers for new screws, new tools. There are even entire drawers that don't have anything in them. Even in this tiny space, we were able to create an incredible amount of empty space. All right, so in closing, if you'd like help building a workshop that is designed intensely based on you and your peculiarities, based on your space and its peculiarities, and based on what you do today and might do tomorrow, reach out. You can go to my website, keithstestgarage.com. Whether you want a full build, some design work, or just some brainstorming sessions, let's connect. Study your space. Maybe I'll see some of you there.